Hello everyone, welcome to E-Military. The Russian invasion of Ukraine entered its fifth day, and the fighting has intensified across the country. As for the latest developments, the Ukrainian forces reportedly have destroyed dozens of Russian tanks with their Bayraktar TB2 drone. Ukraine's embassy in Turkey said on Twitter that Ukrainian armed forces had struck a Russian military convoy in the southern city of Kherson using Turkish Bayraktar TB2 drones. Accompanying the post was a video, purportedly showing the aftermath of the strike, in which dozens of Russian tanks and military support vehicles looked totally ruined. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry also said that TB2 drones had hit Russian forces near Hostomel airport, near Kyiv. There have been no comments from Russia in response to Ukraine's statements. Earlier this month, Ukraine and Turkey signed a series of agreements, including a deal that would expand the production capabilities of Turkish drone maker Bayraktar in Ukraine. Its drones were deployed last year in Kyiv's war against Russian-backed separatists in its eastern Donbas region. The defense industry and aviation are the main driving force for our strategic partnership, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky told reporters at the time. Bayraktar will expand its production of unmanned aerial vehicles in Ukraine, and Ukraine will strengthen its defense capabilities with these new technologies and jobs. Following the signing of the deal, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who has a close but sometimes fraught relationship with Russian President Vladimir Putin, reiterated Ankara's support for the territorial integrity of Ukraine. Today, the Turkish president's support came into forces. NATO member Turkey changed its rhetoric to call Russia's assault on Ukraine a war on Sunday and pledged to implement parts of an international pact that would potentially limit the transit of Russian warships from the Mediterranean to the Black Sea. Kyiv had appealed to Ankara to block any more Russian ships from entering the Black Sea, from which Moscow launched an incursion on Ukraine's southern coast. At least 6 Russian warships and a submarine transited Turkey's straits this month. It is not a couple of airstrikes now. The situation in Ukraine is officially a war. We will implement the Montreux Convention, Mevlut Çavuşoğlu, Turkey's foreign minister, said in an interview with broadcaster CNN Turk. Balancing its Western commitments and close ties to Moscow, Ankara has in recent days called the Russian attack unacceptable but until Sunday had not described the situation in Ukraine as a war. Meanwhile, the European Union has asked its satellite center in Madrid to provide intelligence to Ukraine about Russian troop movements, and EU countries are determined to further increase their bilateral military support to Kyiv, head EU diplomat Josep Borrell has said. This is the first time the European Union, which was founded to promote peace in Europe, has provided lethal aid into a conflict. Germany has broken its long-standing policy of banning weapon exports to conflict zones, and Sweden broke its long-standing neutrality. Both are sending anti-tank rockets, among other weapons and supplies. On Sunday, Finland agreed to let Estonia supply Ukraine with field guns purchased from Finland under an agreement that originally prohibited selling them on. According to ABC News, at least one Western country is studying a request from Ukraine to provide fighter jets, a European official said. She spoke on condition of anonymity to discuss information not yet public. EU defense ministers were to meet to discuss how to get the weaponry into Ukraine. A trainload of Czech equipment arrived on Sunday and another was en route on Monday, though blocking such shipments will clearly be a key Russian priority. Josep Borrell told a news conference the EU sanctions imposed on Russia will have a cost for Europe. But we have to be ready to pay the price, or we will have to pay a much higher price in the future, Borrell said. Relations with Russia will no longer be determined by trade, he said. He added that Europe must move as quickly as possible to reduce its reliance on Russian oil and gas. Russia is the world's largest exporter of natural gas, and it satisfies about a third of Europe's consumption. Russia is also a major producer of petroleum products. Moscow, on the other hand, has its own view on the issue. Russian President Vladimir Putin has frequently accused Ukraine of being taken over by extremists ever since its pro-Russian president, Viktor Yanukovych, was ousted in 2014 after months of protests against his rule. Russia then retaliated by seizing the southern region of Crimea and triggering a rebellion in the east, backing separatists who have fought Ukrainian forces in a war that has claimed 14,000 lives. Late in 2021, Russia began deploying big numbers of troops close to Ukraine's borders, while repeatedly denying it was going to attack. Then Putin scrapped a 2015 peace deal for the east and recognized areas under rebel control as independent. The Russian president has long resisted Ukraine's move towards the European Union and the West's defensive military alliance, NATO. Announcing Russia's invasion, he accused NATO of threatening Russia's historic future as a nation. This false narrative of a Ukraine seized by fascists in 2014 has been spun regularly on Kremlin-controlled TV. What Russia's plans are for Ukraine are unknown, but it faces stiff resistance from a deeply hostile population. Civilian volunteers and paramilitary groups are now taking the fight to the Russian army in Kyiv, Ukraine's capital. As dawn broke in Kyiv on Monday, it was not immediately clear how far the Russian soldiers had advanced. Ukrainian officials reported success in fending off assaults, but fighting persisted near the capital. Skirmishes reported on the edge of the city of nearly 3 million people suggested that small Russian units were probing Ukrainian defenses to clear a path for the main forces. New satellite images shared by samaachaar show a more than 3-mile-long Russian military convoy is on a roadway heading toward the Ukrainian capital.